Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. Now, tonight, we were supposed to do a show tonight about the Oklahoma City bombings. But unfortunately, my guest, Mrs. Dr. Painting, who wrote a book about the Oklahoma City bombing, she was supposed to come on, but she had a death in the family she had to cancel. To fill in for her, we had this other guy who was at Kent State, and he was shot at down at Kent State, and he rode in the ambulance with one of the victims that died down there, and at the last second, he had to cancel as well. So I've been working on a report that I was going to do for you on Al Sharpton, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and I was going to put that in the members section. But I said, you know what? I've been working on this. Let me just do it live Friday night. It'll get a big audience. I think it's important information. In the second half of our show, we're going to have Ted Rubenstein, a really fascinating guy. This guy lived with Dave Emery. He worked with Dave Emery on his show. We worked with Mae Brussel on her show. He worked with Larry Flint at Rebel Magazine. And really, we'll be getting to it. So these guys are a conspiracy theorist, and a researcher from way back. A long time. Research JFK, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have a conversation with him. We were going to talk about the Oklahoma City bombing, but I guess we can cover that. My plan with him was to get into everything anyway, because he's one of these guys who can talk about just about anything. So what I'll do is, hopefully my voice will hold out, and I'll give you some information about Al Sharpton. Yesterday, I did an interview with Neil Sanders on mind control. And we recorded that, and that's for the members section on OppermanReport.com. Now, it's not up in the members section yet. You can find it on YouTube, and you can watch it on YouTube for $2, or you can subscribe to the Opperman Report members section, and it'll be up there in the next few days. Okay, we're having little problems. I don't even have the password to get stuff up there, and my webmaster that's been working on that for me for free has been ill the past week. And I'd like to ask everybody to pray for him, too. He's a great guy. Christoph Scott Moses, a wonderful guy. He's an artist, a brilliant kid, and but he's got these migraine headaches, that he gets. And they incapacitate him. And just such a wonderful, loving guy, man. We love him here. So I would just ask everybody to pray for him, please, and keep him in your prayers. Christoph, we love you, man. I can't wait to hear from you again soon. So now, Al Sharpton, okay? I know we have a lot of people listening from the UK and Ireland and all over the other side of the pond who may not realize who Al Sharpton is. And a lot of people here in the United States have a view of Al Sharpton. And I'd like to ask everybody to keep an open mind tonight about what you're going to hear. And I think a lot of the reaction to Al Sharpton people have right away is racism. It's a racist reaction to him. And they say, oh, he's a race baiter. Oh, he's a charlatan, and he's doing this for money, and he's whipping up the crowds, and he goes down there to Ferguson and gets involved in these things just to whip up the crowds and cause trouble, And I think we're going to find out that there's a little bit more to this story than you realize. For people out of the country, Al Sharpton, today he's a TV and a radio personality, okay? And he portrays himself as a liberal, as a civil rights activist, as a leader, and he gets involved in incidents where the police shoot or kill unarmed black men, like in Ferguson and this Freddie Gray case, where this in Baltimore, where this young black man was murdered by the police. And if there's a pattern that I've picked up with Al Sharpton, is that he's lately, at least, he's always advocating for the federal government to come in and take over these investigations, or the federal Justice Department to come in into local situations and take over the investigations and take over the prosecutions. And that's something that's making me very uncomfortable, and I think I can present to you tonight where I think that's coming from. Now, who is Al Sharpton? Where did he come from? Okay, back in 1969, the Reverend Al Sharpton was appointed by Jesse Jackson. Most people know who Jesse Jackson is. And he was appointed by Jesse Jackson to serve as the youth director of the New York City branch of Operation Breadbasket. This was an Operation Push program that was run by the Rainbow Coalition by Jesse Jackson. And then around 1971, he founded the National Youth Movement. Okay, this is what Sharpton did. He started his own little organization there called the National Youth Movement. Now it's called the National Alliance Network NAN, I know it's called now. But the first one was called the National Youth Movement. I think that came out of Brownsville, Brooklyn. And the NAN right now is on 125th Street in Manhattan, in Harlem. In 1972, he became the youth director for Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was a African-American congresswoman who ran for president a couple of times back in the early 70s and 80s. And Al Sharpton was appointed by her, to be the youth director of her presidential campaign. So early on, he had some very legitimate credentials. Now, he's also a reverend. And a lot of people say, well, what kind of reverend is he, man? Oh, yeah, we only hear him out there protesting and rabble-rousing and stirring up these crowds of protesters, and he's agitating the crowds. That's what he's doing. He's just down there causing trouble. He's going to come in, and cause trouble. He's no reverend. Well, the fact is that Reverend Sharpton was an ordained Pentecostal minister in New York City, and he actually gave. He was ordained like at 10 years old, and he would give sermons at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. He had that gift. And then later on in the 80s, he left the Pentecostal church and he became a Baptist, and the Bethany Baptist Church in 1994. And that's the church he works out of now. He's as a Baptist minister. Okay, and he's legally ordained, and he can preach. I've heard him preach, and we're going to get into my personal interactions with Reverend Al Sharpton, and even in personal conversations, he does base his. He will sprinkle little scriptures in there and bring up stories. I can remember an incident where we were at a meeting and he brought up the story of Job, and he started talking about Job. And it's way before I was ever into the Bible or anything like that. So he does have his legitimate Christian credentials as a reverend. He may not talk about it on the radio. He may not talk about it on TV, or when he's protesting out in front of some kid who got killed. But I've heard him. My connection to Al Sharpton, I was first exposed to Reverend Al. It was around 78 or 79. I was a young man. I was still in high school. And this was around when I was involved in Rock Against Racism, which was a group, it was marches and smoke-ins that were put on by the New York City Yippies. They were put on in May 1st of May Day, and then later on in October around Halloween. I guess it was 1983. In New York City, there was the death of Michael Stewart, and it really shook the whole city because Michael Stewart was a young kid, and he was a graffiti artist, and he was on the subway tracks, and he was painting some stuff on the subway walls there. And New York City Housing Transit Authority police grabbed him, and I believe they choked him to death. But they murdered Michael Stewart. He was an unarmed man, and this was 1983, and that was my second phase of contact with Al Sharpton when we were organizing and marching in the streets and protesting the death of Michael Stewart. Now, in those days, the focus of the marches were, we're going to shut this city down, and we want this man prosecuted. We want these police arrested. We want them prosecuted, and we're going to shut this city down till we get it. Then there was another big case that was just heartbreaking in New York City around that time. These were devastating cases, man. It shook because we didn't have them. Like now, you got them every week. Cops are killing people. Back in those days, it was fairly rare to have these kind of cases. And it was Eleanor Bumpers. This woman was like 70 years old, 75 to 80 years old. And she lived in the housing projects. And something happened where there was some kind of a incident in her housing project's apartment. And the police showed up. And like 6 cops were in there. And they had shields and they had everything, And they shot her and they killed her. I think she had a little knife or something and, was threatening to kill herself. And again, we all the groups,